Welcome back to the FanSpeak Network and another episode of the NFL Betting Card. Unfortunately, not live this time. That's all on me. Google StreamYard issues for me. We'll get it all worked out, but unfortunately, this will be uploaded, and we can't have the live chat, the live, viewers and chat, and we miss you guys. So I want to say that up front, just since we can't interact with you, we're just going to interact with each other, and then hopefully you guys enjoy watching it back. Once we get it uploaded. So again, sorry about that, but like this episode and subscribe to the FanSpeak Network. We really appreciate that and your understanding. Let me go to my guys here. Of course, I'm joined every Thursday with Spread Astaire, Tyler Hicks, to talk through the NFL betting card, and we're going to cover it all. It's all going to be up on FanSpeak. But Spread, how are you doing? You're not pulling your hair out like me with technical issues.
Don't have as much to either. Yeah.
Right. And no, how are we doing here, Spread? Again, as you can see, we all did a baby blue dress code for today. So I hope you guys all appreciate that. So I appreciate the boys, and then just matching it up with me. But no, Spread, how are you doing? And are you ready for week 14 slate?
I'm doing great. And boy, week 14 already, Meg. Time flies when you're having fun. And that's what the NFL season is. I'm going to miss every February. It's like
I can't even talk about it yet. I get so depressed.
No more. I got my podcast schedule. I listen Monday morning, and then tonight, I start. Tyler and I have been doing, and I think it's been working better for me this year. We make our picks, and then I listen to the other people's stuff. But it's not, maybe influences me in the later weeks. But I kind of root for them to land on the same picks as me if they're people that I think are sharp. But no, it's been great. And we do have some exciting matchups this week, Meg, and I can't wait to see.
We have a couple to talk it through.
I know where you're going to be on Sunday Night Football, but there's plenty of intriguing matchups that I can't wait to get your opinion on, because you'll see a lot of leans over there on the fanspeak.com right now if you're looking at the treasure map. But we want to solidify those too. But we want to get your opinion as well. There was only one that we felt we wanted to get in right away. But there's some more that we want to get your opinion on, and we think we're going to have them be official plays by the time they kick off on Sunday.
Okay, so there could be a few more X marks the spot by the end of the show. Okay, yeah, well, obviously you'll see this, as I get it uploaded and everything. But yeah, we will get the NFL betting card updated with all their picks that they land on after this show. We will get the Thursday night picks up. You'll have time to see that before Thursday night football. Not a fun Thursday night football game. And of course, we get it updated for every slate, so we'll have it updated for Sunday. Tyler, we got to go to you. How are you doing? And what are you thinking about this week 14 slate?
I'm doing good, Meg. But looking at this slate, I mean, is it just me, or these NFL slates get uglier and uglier by the week? Like, you just look at some of these quarterback matchups.
Well, we have so many backup quarterbacks playing. I mean,
man, like you start with Thursday, the matchup of the best quarterbacks in the league, Bailey Zappi versus Mitchell Trubinsky with a total of 30 points. And some of those Sunday matchups. I mean, I think you have a Trevor Siemian matchup with, who is it? Who's he going to be matched up with? He's playing Stroud.
He'll be going against CJ Stroud. So we got at least one good quarterback.
Not that bad. The other bad ones are, you get Winston and Bryce Young.
I was going to say, we have either crap versus backup or backup versus backup. Yeah, I mean, there's so many backup quarterbacks.
You get Beathard versus BTR / Joe Flacco / PJ Walker.
Maybe I'm hearing there's rumors Trevor might try and get out there.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool to see him get out there, but I just don't think it to.
My best ball shares need him to get his ass out there, but it's a high ankle sprain, so I'm not very optimistic that he will.
Yeah, but then as you look at the slate, Meg, as you get into those later games, there's 2 or 3 games I think we're going to have some arguments about, and we're all on the same sides there. So
I know Sunday night we're going to have arguments about. I've been taking notes, and I had Steve pull, the FanSpeak data team. That would be my brother Steve. Pulled some stats for me that I'm going to be firing at you. The team. So yeah, no, I think there'll be a lot to talk through here. But yeah, I mean, I think every December, right, we always have to factor in weather, so that might bring totals down, and then just cumulative injuries late in the season. And then this season, we're just decimated with injuries, and especially at the quarterback position. So that's just going to lead to backup versus backup and ugly totals, ugly games. So, but hey, that doesn't mean we can't still find the winners.
We have 18 Hall of Famers coming in.
18. It gets more and more every single week. So doesn't it feel that way, Tyler?
Next year,
feels
we won't
like
have
every
any
week
of
there's
these
more.
He watches Washington play, and his quarterbacks multiply by like 6.
Yeah. So you are so locked in on Penix still, right?
Yeah, he's my favorite.
He's your guy. You want him to be a Las Vegas Raider, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's who you're rooting for. Okay. Does your Raiders Nation agree with you? Like, what's the Raiders Nation consensus of who they would be, assuming they can't get Caleb Williams?
I don't know yet. I'll have to get back to you on that. We haven't got that far. We're still dialed in on this season, Mac. We're 5-7.
That's true. That's true. Raiders fans might not all be on the clock yet. Shameless plug on the clock. If you're out of it, like Washington fans are, you could go on the clock. I just mocked like 4 offensive linemen and 4 secondary players in the first 5 rounds because we have so many picks, and it was just a lot. So on the clock, simulate the 2024 draft, get Ultimate GM, no ads on the site, simulate the entire offseason. Do that if you're like a Washington fan and your hope is gone. So that's the therapy that we offer you here at fanspeak.com. All right, time to talk week 14 slate. Oh, and before I mention this, I don't know if you guys, I know you guys realize this, but let's just bring it up and then obviously I'll be talking about a lot next week, but week 14 is the best ball sweat to playoffs. So week 14 is the last regular season of best ball season. And Monday night, you will know how many teams are advancing to best ball playoffs. So it's a big week for the best ballers out there, and a big week for, I know, Steve and I, and sweating out to see how many teams we can push through. So that'll be a lot to talk about next week. I'm happy with my advance right now, and I hope it holds, but TBD, because dealing with plenty of injuries and stuff. So how are you guys feeling about your best ball playoff sweat to the playoffs? Any thoughts on that? You're okay.
I just know I got a couple teams in first.
There you go.
And I'm not looking at it until next week. I'll say that. Like,
when you're going to want to see next week, because you'll want to see your pod that you're in, right? Like, I think there's going to be a lot of dead pods with like two dead quarterbacks.
Yeah, I go in every week after the week and just look and see. It's like, all right, I'm still in first or I'm in second. Like, to be honest, I really don't know how to sweat that. Like,
well, you can look and see, like, okay, if I'm in second, how many points back is third? Do I have a chance where I'm pretty much do have this split locked, or that kind of stuff? So that's how us best ball nerds sweat it out, or have hopes. Like, I have some that I know could probably fall out, but that I have some in third place that are close. So I'm just hoping, with that said, it shakes out where I'm right around the advance rate I am now. So we'll see. Anyways, I had to do best ball nerd talk because this is a big best ball week. And then each week, 15 quarterfinals, 16 semifinals, and week 17 finals. So you'll hear me talk about the next 4 weeks. You knew it was coming. So, but now we can talk about the week 14 slate. And of course, we go through the spreads, the totals, anytime touchdowns. We go through props. We go through a little Thursday Night Football. We'll make it very little this week based on the game and the fact that we have to upload this show. So we're going to cover it all. And of course, let's start with the spreads. And of course, I'll go to you first, spread. What is your favorite spread of the week?
I do like the Kansas City Chiefs -2.5. I know they're coming off a pretty poor performance where nobody can catch the ball. But when I'm looking at this game, the Chiefs do have the home field, and that's a significant home field out there at Arrowhead. I do believe, currently constructed, they have the better defense, as Buffalo's defense has been decimated from injuries and went from a top 10 unit to an average unit. And Tyler will agree with me here. They still do have the quarterback advantage. The issue that they're going to have will be, can the receivers come down with these passes here? But I like the Chiefs to bounce back here. I like that I'm getting them coming off a loss. They would have been focused for this game anyways, but there should be plenty of things that they will correct and move on from. And also the loss maybe gives incentive. Andy Reid, maybe we're not saving all those plays now. We might need them this season. There's no reason to keep some in there for the inedible AFC Championship game, because if they don't win this game, they're going to be traveling a lot on the road. And one thing that they've been able to do during this little mini dynasty is secure that home field advantage for all of their playoff games. And I'm sure they're going to want to do that again. I know this is a tough bet to make with the way the Chiefs have looked, especially on offense. I think we joked around when we talked on Tuesday about how far Kelsey's going to drop. in best ball next year. You know, he's probably number 3, number 4 this year. He could be in the 30s next year. And that's been evident from the play on the field where he's still, you know, one of the best tight ends we've seen.
He's tight end two right now. I think it's Hawkinson, Kelsey, Laporta, number 3. So.
Yeah, great call by you. And we'll continue to pat you on the back for that one. But I still like the Chiefs here to get it done, even though the weapons around Mahomes have been Patriot-esque.
Patriot-esque. I like that.
Well, I mean, there's just a terrible receiving core. I mean, really, just look at it. I was going through, other than the Panthers, the Patriots. Yeah. Who has the worst receiving core?
And shame on them for not, shame on them for not addressing it better. I know they got Moore 2 years ago, and he hasn't. You know, he runs wind sprints out there, and then they got Rice this year. And I mean, I think he's a good route runner, but I don't know if they're being stubborn. I saw ETR had posted something about how his routes run or his route participation really hasn't gone up. And you'd think they'd give the kid more of a chance, because I think Rice has looked decent. But yeah, shame on them for not addressing it.
Mid-season, I really thought Rice was going to break out.
Yeah, they're not giving him
a more teams, and I thought he was going to end up being a top receiver. And since then, he's kind of regressed to a little bit. And I don't know whether that's scheme, coaching, or just maybe he was exceeding what his skill level really is. For a thing there. But yeah, I mean, that's the only thing for the Chiefs. But I'll tell you what, to be a franchise, I think that's the best problem to have, is just needing those weapons, because there's plenty that won't pay for it. I mean, and that's how the Chiefs got in this in the first place. I still can't believe they traded Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
But they did. I still like the Chiefs -1.5. What do you think, Meg? Do you want to join me there, or are you on the Bills?
I'm joining you on the Chiefs minus. Yeah, I'm joining you. I think that home field advantage is a big one. I think it'll be a good game, you know, similar to the Eagles-Bills game. I think it'll be a fun game to watch. But yeah, I mean, these aren't my favorite teams in the AFC. I mean, I really, really, really love the Dolphins to win it all. Win the AFC. But I think both have their warts. You mentioned Kansas City. So, but with that said, I think that home field advantage and, coming off the loss and, some bumpy games. I mean, it has been real life and fantasy rough for Mahomes, and a lot to point to the weapons and that kind of stuff. So, hasn't been great. And I'm with you. I look for them to bounce back and at least get a win here. So Tyler, are you in lockstep with that? Do you agree with spread on this one?
No, I don't.
No,
threw me a curveball taking the Chiefs because he took the opposite side of what was going to be my best bet of the day.
Oh shit!
Okay.
If I wouldn't have heard him say he took the Chiefs in the beginning, the entire breakdown sounded like he was breaking it down for the Bills. The defense is hurt. Yeah, Nick Bolton, Drew Tranquil, Brian Cook, 3 guys at 3 levels for the Chiefs defense, not practicing right now. Isaiah Pacheco didn't practice today. You're going to run Clyde Edwards-Helaire next on Sunday. You're playing a team that's backed against the wall. They got to win out to get in the playoffs. They have more weapons than you. They could score more points than you. Your home field advantage, you have an advantage there. But if I don't recall watching the earlier shows in the year, our guy Wells spread, they scheduled this Chiefs schedule to make sure that the AFC Championship game was not played in Arrowhead. This is where they get in all their fatigue spots. They've been on the road the last couple of weeks. They were in Green Bay last week. Now they return home. I think the Bills roll in here, and I think they win this game outright and fight their way into the playoffs. Meg, you talked about Miami being your favorite to win the AFC. You look around the AFC, who's the next best team?
Baltimore.
Yes, Baltimore is the next. Sorry.
I think Buffalo is.
Really?
Yes. You've been on this show calling Josh Allen
I still think he's got the football IQ of a potato, but
I think you almost got kicked off YouTube for all the names you called him.
I think the AFC is absolutely
he almost got kicked off YouTube.
Look around the AFC. They still have the Chiefs favored, who have me running at wide receiver. Mm-hmm. You have Baltimore, who just the second half of games, they just take their football helmets off and stop playing.
The defense is so good. That defense.
Then you have the Dolphins, who, if they got to go outside of Miami, they're screwed. You have the Jags, who
I don't think they will, though.
We even consider them an actually good team right now. Like, they win games, but we're not sure if they're elite.
Right.
And then the Bills, who are going to slowly get all their defensive guys back as the playoffs close in. If they get in, they are going to make noise. They're going to win this game outright on Sunday.
Wow.
I can't wait for Monday.
I mean,
Josh
I think
Allen, 3 interceptions. How will Tyler respond?
Oh, he'll probably throw 3, but he's going to throw 3 touchdowns, and Mahomes is going to throw 2 picks, 300 yards, and 1 touchdown because nobody can get open.
Yeah, I mean, that offense has been rough to watch. I looked at his fantasy stats and I was like, okay, the fantasy hasn't, numbers haven't been there, but watching real life hasn't been there either. It's been bad. It's been not good, and it's so crazy because every year people like dog on the NFC. Oh, NFC's terrible. AFC is just a juggernaut. We think that every year.
That's threaded by Jordan Love, Christian Watson,
exactly.
Dobbs, and Jaden Reed. And you're going to send me Josh Allen, Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs, Dalton Kincaid, and Dawson Knox back off of IR. Yeah, give me the Bills.
Yeah. I don't know. Shit, spread. Now Tyler's swaying me here. I don't know.
There's a reason it's not on the sheet.
Okay.
The reason I took this one, Tyler, is because you were the one banging the drum for the Browns. So that's our only X on the sheet for a side. But I said
I was gonna leave out. I thought you were taking that one.
Well, the reason I did it was because I didn't care about that game, and you made the good argument for the Browns when we were going over the projections.
Flacco.
And
let's go.
So I did that. So once you give them a bonus, Tyler, and let them know
give a bonus.
On why you like the Cleveland Browns -6.
Yeah. I mean, we pulled up weather as we were breaking down the games.
I was just
20-mile-an-hour winds, likely rain.
Ooh.
You're gonna send the Jags, who we just talked about. I'm not even sure they're an actually good football team. Their record shows they're good, but they've played a lot of easy spots. Trevor Lawrence is practicing today, but that injury did not look good. He's lucky to just get out of that.
I'm surprised to see me being considered.
Yeah,
shocked.
I'm not even sure if he practices 2 days and they're like, yeah, you're still gonna sit this one out. But
I wouldn't play him.
Yeah,
no. Yeah.
I think
not against that defense. You got to be kidding.
Very lucky to get out of that without tearing any ligaments in his knee.
Mm-hmm.
Do not put him on a wet field against this defense. If you're gonna send Beathard out there, this -3 is way too short. Flacco's old. He's a statue, but he looked competent in his first game.
He's still got a live arm.
Yeah, they'll be able to run the ball too, and I trust the Browns defense at home in this element. So -3, I think we got to take the Browns there because if Trevor Lawrence is announced out, that number becomes about 4.5, maybe 5. I'd rather get it now at the field goal spot.
I think that's a great point. I love that. I mean, again, selfishly, we could play a drinking game for the time I mentioned best ball the next 4 weeks, but I selfishly wish Trevor Lawrence could play. But
can you imagine if we did that, Meg? I mean,
we'd be on the floor
by the time we got.
We'd be throwing up and on the floor. Are you kidding? We couldn't do that. So we couldn't do that. I know nobody's live with us now, but like in the future weeks, we couldn't do that to the people. People would be in rough shape. So, I think that'd be crazy for them to put him out there. And then they lost Christian Kirk too. I mean, Jesus. Anyways, I just don't see how he plays against that Browns defense and the weather elements. I think you make all good points. I want to jump on the Browns too. I'm with you there. So obviously, again, that's on their NFL treasure map. Everything will be up on the NFL betting card that they land on. And of course, all our other bets will be on the NFL betting card. Check that out on fanspeak.com and check out their treasure map on the sports betting tab of fanspeak.com. Okay. So those are the spreads. We have a little debate there already. Not on the sheet is the Bills Chiefs. I originally sided with the Chiefs. I mean,
he is making some good points. I
was going to say, Tyler made some.
The Browns was the one that I bet so far, but like I said, I
love the Browns.
Steal it from him because he was the one who made the pitch when we were originally going over the game.
I love the Browns. I'm fully on that. I'm saying he made some compelling points on the Buffalo game. So that's a tough one. You guys are on different sides there. I know we're not all going to be on the same side on some other ones too. So do you want to talk before we get to totals, other games that you are debating right now?
Yeah, let's get your thoughts on some of these, Meg.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up so I can see spreads at live as you're going through them.
So, Meg,
yes.
Right, California is doing well right now. I mean, Tyler and I have turned it around. If you check the treasure map, I think at one point in November we were down 11 units. Now we're up 7.
Love it.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm winning.
So
we got a head coach from Compton doing his thing with the Las Vegas Raiders.
Another drinking game.
Finally, the final tap. Yeah, throw that one in there too. The final feather in our cap, Meg, has been the emergence of a quarterback from Folsom, California. That's right. He went to the Washington Huskies, disappointed there, fell in the draft, went to the Minnesota Vikings. He now is the backup for the Cincinnati Bengals, was expected to toil away in obscurity behind Joe Burrow, but instead was thrust into the spotlight on Monday Night Football. Meg, what did you think of that performance from Northern California legend Jake Browning? And does he do it again? Is that a one and done, or is this kid here to stay? He's always had the talent. I was telling Simon when we did the preview show, he was ranked higher as a high school prospect than most of the guys that got drafted ahead of him in his class.
Okay,
what happened was issues at Washington with the play on the field, and I think some of the off-field reports where the coaches weren't too enamored with his attitude and work ethic really caused him to fall in the draft. But this is
what did he fall to in the draft? What round did he fall to? I'm
trying
to remember.
Fourth.
Third or fourth. Okay, yeah.
My question for you is this: do you think that was real, or was that like a flash in the pan? And does he go back this week?
Surprised the hell out of me. I didn't see that coming Monday night, but I was incredibly impressed.
I kind of did. I even had him as captain in a couple of the
Did you? Good
lineups,
for you.
just because I knew the arm talent that he had, and he had the physical ability, and even at Washington, his ability to read defense was never called in question. It was the work habits and the studying off the field.
Okay.
But he gets through his progressions fine.
He gets through his above average
arm.
Yeah. Both. Yeah. So yeah, I was surprised, but I mean, that was my first like really full game watching him. So, you know, I was so impressed. I mean, it's hard to think, you know, with those things, you do wonder, okay, how long is this going to continue? Or was it a flash in the pan, that kind of stuff? But like you said, you saw the arms talent and you saw the reading through progressions was incredibly impressive. So I know I've been drafting a lot of Jamar Chase on underdog battle royales this week because, you know, there's no reason that he can't still be utilized as a weapon, just like he was on Monday. So I assume you're leaning towards the Bengals over the Colts here.
I think if you think that Browning's going to play like that again, Bengals -2 is a slam dunk.
Yes,
Slam dunk.
I mean, am I confident enough to say I definitely feel like, you know, he could repeat that performance? I don't know that I'm that confident.
How many times have we seen this though, where a backup comes in, has one great game, team, they get the tape, they see what he wants to do, they take that away, and they're lost because they don't have the experience to make the adjustments on the fly.
Yes. And I think they even talked about that on the broadcast about like just some of, you know, his limitations about being able to, you know, obviously make adjustments and that kind of thing. But I don't know. This one's tough. It would be hard for me to pick a side here. I guess if you forced me to, I would say just side with the him distributing to the talent. They still have, you know, Higgins, Chase, Mixon popped it in for 2 touchdowns.
Mixon look good.
Yeah. Mixon popped it in for 2 touchdowns. You know, when they got Chase Brown in, he looked pretty spry. So I don't know. This would be a tough one to like. I don't see myself like really making a strong stand on here when it comes down to betting it. But I see your point. If you forced me to pick a side, I'd say it'd be the Bengals. Where are you landing?
Yeah, I'm getting really close on that one. What do you think, Tyler?
Don't we feel like it's a slight overreaction to a backup quarterback that was about to lose the game before the starting quarterback on the other side got hurt? He was driving down the field to win the game with 4 minutes left. Are we still talking about Jake Browning like this to Trevor Lawrence's ankle?
I think so, because he was still 32 to 37 with 350 yards.
He only missed
he did look good, but at the same time, I feel like the win is just clouding the judgment a little bit. He won the game. It makes him look a little better. The ball to Chase on the sideline. He got it to Chase, and then Chase broke a tackle and housed it for 75 yards. So, yeah, you just get the ball to these talented guys, and they're going to make plays. But the Cincinnati defense is nothing I'm like afraid of. And Minshew can dink and dunk this team with Pittman and Downs. Zach Moss can run all over them. He will throw the ball to legit anyone. We've seen Gregson get involved as the tight end last week. So he will use anyone on the field to get open. I can't go against this Colts team. They have not the better weapons, but they have the better quarterback. I think they'll be able to move the ball better. And I think they have the better defense. They're just not at home. I don't think Minshew's going to make many mistakes because he's not going to force the ball down the field. So I get the Browning love, but at the same time, I'd rather not bet it against a guy like Minshew.
I was going to say we have seen We have seen this so many times before where backup quarterback, like you said, spread, and like you're alluding to, Tyler, has that one good, super efficient game. And then we're all like enamored and like, oh my God, could he get a starting job next year?
And then same thing when like a UFC fighter, like the guy he's supposed to fight drops out on Monday. They get a guy by Wednesday who's supposed to just walk in and just get knocked out. And then you watch the fight and it's like that dude fought tooth and nail with the guy who's ranked 5th in the whole division. I'm going to bet that guy next time he goes out there and fights. And you bet him the next time. And it's like, that's not the same guy I bet in the first fight. You're like, where's that guy at? So I could see that happening with Jake Browning here. Really good game first time. You bet him the second game. It's like, that is not the quarterback that was out there Monday night.
Yeah, that would definitely be a concern. That's why I said I would just stay away from this one. But if you force me, maybe the home field advantage, the weapons. I mean, I do love Michael Pittman, just looks awesome right now. But I see all your points too. So that's why I would go with my initial gut and just leave this one alone, probably.
Final one I want to ask you about, Meg. The Denver Broncos will be in Los Angeles taking on a team that you hold so near and dear to your heart, the Chargers, at least on the offensive end.
Yes.
The Broncos, of course, had their 5-game winning streak snapped by the Texans.
Right.
In a game where Russell Wilson threw 3 interceptions. Still had a chance to win it there at the end. And I thought he was going to actually get it in there watching it live.
Yeah.
Now they travel to Los Angeles. Now, originally, I thought I was going to love the Broncos here. But looking a little deeper into this Broncos 5-game winning streak, it wasn't necessarily as impressive as I thought it was. This defense that we said had turned it around actually did not turn it around from a yards per play perspective or an EPA perspective. They were still around 22nd in the league during that span. The difference was their turnovers. They just dominated the turnovers.
Yeah.
So they got all these turnovers during that time, which allowed them to, make the defense look good because that's the way the new NFL is. Most of these teams can move the ball 22 to 20.
And if you win the turnover battle,
that determines you as the defense. So originally, I really thought I was going to like the Broncos here, but now I'm a little worried that defense could be a bit of fool's gold here. Now you're going against the Chargers team, and we've talked about, I mean, they've lost weapons. Without Mike Williams, I really didn't like the offense to begin with. And now with Keenan Allen being banged up, I really wonder how effective Herbert can be. I think he did. So here's how I'm looking at that one. I'm pretty sure he's going to play. I just don't think he's going to be 100%. How do you approach this one? At first, I thought I was going to love catching the points with the Broncos here. Now I'm thinking maybe overvaluing that nice little run that they had and just look at the two teams on the field and that the Chargers get it done. What do you think, Meg? Do you think the Broncos will bounce back up to that loss to the Texans? Or do you think that maybe that 5-game winning streak had a little bit of fool's gold in it?
Yeah, I don't know if it was total fool's gold, but I think you made a great point about the defensive stats when you dive deeper. It was really, really, looked a lot better because of those turnovers. So I 100% agree with that. First of all, I don't know I didn't get a chance to watch that Chargers-Patriots game. I don't know if the offense just looked like shit so bad because they knew they didn't have to push back much. The weather, I don't know what was factoring into such a low total on that. They only put up 6 or 7 points.
They really couldn't move the ball.
It was absolutely depressing and absurd because that hurt bad. Again, I'm sorry about all the best ball stuff, but I am heavily invested in the Chargers. So I was going to say, disclaimer here, I don't think I can give you a non-biased answer because I am hoping and praying that this offense can pull it together and starting this week against the Broncos. Find a way. I know Eckler's probably playing banged up. I hope he can somehow put something together, even just to get the end zone. I hope Keenan Allen can play through the injury and play better than he did last week. Like he at least, didn't get in the end zone against the Ravens, and that's a good defense, but he had however many targets and 12 catches and 100 and some yards. So I hope he can get back to that. And I do think Josh Palmer's practicing again. I think there's a chance he could play. If Josh Palmer can play, that could be an X factor to help because Quentin Johnson is not it. He's bad. And so they need Josh Palmer was a bigger loss than I think most people realize. Obviously, Mike Williams was the massive, massive loss. But then losing Josh Palmer was big because Quentin Johnson is terrible. So for a rookie. Hopefully they can get Palmer back. Hopefully Keenan Allen can play through this and play more like he did in the Ravens game. Hopefully Eckler can play this. I'm just like very, very biased. So I cannot give you an unbiased answer because I am desperate for this Chargers team to put up some offense this week. I may actually even have a chance to sneak a team into the top 10,000 on Underdog if they do have a wonderful and awesome offensive performance. So that's where I'm at with that. But I do lean the Chargers in this one at home. Divisional matchup, obviously still mathematically, I guess in it and everything. So I'm leaning towards the Chargers on this one. But again, I gave you all my reasons of why you may just put a bias stamp on that one.
All right. And Tyler, you didn't want to take the Broncos because Surtain's out. Did you have anything else to add to that?
Is he definitely 100% out?
He didn't practice today.
Okay.
That
helps.
Yeah. I mean, Nico Collins, what do you have? 4 catches, $180 something, and a touchdown.
He almost had 200 yards. Yeah.
And you're gonna send Keenan Allen out there against this defense this week,
please.
Yeah. So I don't want nothing to do with the Broncos if their best corners out there because the guys below him will fall off a cliff, and I'd just rather not.
If that's the case, then I really like the Chargers. I mean, do you feel
this
confident?
This is a very, very, very like I said at the beginning of the show, I think this of the last 4 weeks with these NFL slates just being bad, I think it's the worst one of them all. I might have 2 to 3 bets on this entire card. There's going to be
we have 2 placed right now, which is
low. A lot of these games you're going to bring them to me, and I'm just going to go, nah, I'd rather just not bet that. This is one of those ones. It's a Chargers Denver game. Would it surprise either you if Denver showed up and won? No. Would it surprise either you if the Chargers showed up and won? No.
Definitely not. No.
So, I just don't see the pathway where you can pinpoint it's going to happen this way. I don't see many ways it goes the other way. I just don't see it in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're making a bet, you have to basically be like, I'd be shocked to hell that if it went.
You need an edge. You can't just flip a coin.
You need to have that edge.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say if Surtain's out, I feel like that's a big edge.
It's huge. And that's probably what kept us off on Tuesday. And the more I looked into it, the more I'm glad that kept us off because even with him in there, diving into it more, I didn't love the Broncos. But how impressive they had been over that streak. I thought they had a good chance to get the upset this week. And it felt like everything's falling apart in Chargers land. And I wonder if the fact that they have to know this coach is gone. There's no way he comes back, right?
Yeah.
We
have a lot of these lame duck coaches situations in, like Washington situation, Chargers. Obviously we have some coaches fired already, but we have these lame duck situations too, where it's like, how is the locker room? They know it. We know it. So they certainly know it. How is the locker room with that going on? So I get it. I get what you're saying there too. So.
All right. Well, that's it for sides. You want to move to the favorite total?
Do you want to talk about the one side that we definitely don't agree on?
Do you want to do that now or do you want to save it?
You tell me. You pick.
Let's do it right now, Meg. Give me the Philadelphia Eagles plus 3.5 in Dallas taking on the Cowboys. Boy, the Eagles, they looked rough against San Francisco.
That's an understatement.
Everybody's running to put dirt on their grave. Not regarding that this is the team with the best record in the NFL. This is one of the few teams where the Cowboys will not have the advantage in the trenches. Usually, the Cowboys defensive line is able to dominate. Micah Parsons is out there crossing over people, letting people know which way he's going to go. He's not going to be able to do that this week. And when do I want to grab this team with Jalen Hurts, who I feel is a great leader and really keeps these teams level-headed, whether they're up or down? It's this week with the Philadelphia Eagles. And now I know that there's a lot of defensive injuries here for this team. But at the end of the day, I don't know if I can trust Dak to win by margin. Maybe they win, but 3.5 seems too much here for a division game where I feel the teams are pretty close to equal. The Eagles squeaked out that win at home, but I think they're going to be able to improve on this performance. I'm definitely taking the 3.5, putting a little on the plus 158 money line. But Meg, you're going for the Cowboys. Why?
I have the same question for you. You watched that game against the 49ers and you are
against the
rushing
very best team in the NFL. The Cowboys aren't that good.
Yes,
the
they
Cowboys
are.
do not have the versatility that the 49ers do.
Okay, we can all agree. I think everybody on this panel all agrees the 49ers are the best team in the NFL, best team in the NFC, best team in the NFL. We all agree there, I think. So, no, what? You
Who's
actually
better?
You do not think the Eagles are better?
They're a well-oiled machine, but in the end, I still think their quarterback's a liability.
No, no.
I don't think he's an MVP.
Be better than Jalen Hurts.
No.
Exactly. Yes.
No.
He's really accurate.
He is incredibly accurate. Yeah.
That's what matters in the NFL.
Yep.
You could drop like 25 guys behind that offensive line in that system, and they would do exactly the same thing.
No.
Not 25. Like Tyler, 7. You've watched how bad the quarterback play is this year. There's no way that 25 other NFL quarterbacks could do the same thing that Brock.
I mean, that's the easiest situation. Meg, it's literally like, all right, snap ball, look to your left. Debo's going to be standing there with 3 blockers in front of him. Throw him the ball, and he's going to run it 80 yards down the field for you. And if it's not that, it's fake hand it off to CMC, turn around and watch Ayuk run a crossing route with no corners in the middle of the field, like they're standing on the sidelines, and he just throws it right to him.
But he has to be good to do that. I mean, he has to have anticipation and make the reads and get through his progression.
I don't think there's many read makings when the guys are wide open.
Ask TJ Beathard that. Ask Nick Mullins that.
Exactly. There was, I was gonna say, there were other guys in this system.
Back like 6 years ago.
No, it wasn't Mullins.
When
only
you're old, you have a long memory, Tyler.
Those 2 guys played before they made the Super Bowl against the Chiefs.
Okay, so do you want me to give my whole rundown and then Tyler
can?
I brought props and everything. My mom gave me.
You brought props?
Yeah, my mom.
I'm not playing around with this.
My mom gave me. I've hit a new rock bottom in the aging process. My mom gave me an extra pair of reading glasses this week at Thanksgiving. So I'm gonna look like a lawyer.
Meg McBeal.
Yeah, Meg McBeal. I had to read close because I'm not used to the reading glasses situation. But first of all, I'm going to make my points. Then I'm going to go through Steve's data, which, by the way, I can't look up at the camera when I with reading glasses. Not used to them yet. Thank God. Okay, Cowboys, the ascending team. Eagles, the descending team. I'd rather it's not what you've done; it's where you're going. It's not how you start; it's how you finish. And I think this Cowboys team that since the bye week is finishing strong. The Eagles are way more injured, including their quarterback Hurts is playing injured. No, I'm not going to go David Carr on you and tell you that he needs to be sat down for Marcus Mariota, but he is playing injured. That is a liability. I'm telling you. The defense is injured. The Eagles are coming off 5 or 6 close games. Okay, I can't do this. I'm getting a headache. Not used to reading glasses yet, but the prop was fun. The Eagles are coming off 5 or 6 very close, tight games, big marquee games. The Dallas has, since the bye week, has just basically, the Seattle game was much closer than anybody anticipated. The defense was a big letdown there. That surprised me as well, too. But the Dallas has basically blown through everybody since their week 7 bye. The Eagles have struggled to pull out, mostly pulled wins out of their ass, but they, of course, got the shit kicked out of them last week. They both, first of all, we can agree, both Dallas and Philly got their asses beat by the 49ers, the best team in the NFL. But other than that, let's look at common opponents, right? Okay, so that was point number 1. One team's ascending, one team's descending. Point number 2, one team's healthy, one team's not, especially a quarterback. Point number 3, we've got emotional, tight victories versus just blowing past teams other than last week for Dallas. And then point number 4, let's look at common opponents. People are going to say, well, Dallas hasn't beat all these teams with winning record, blah, 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 blah. You can only play what's in front of you. And when you look at the common opponents that they played, that they've both played already, Dallas has beat them the common opponents much easier. And some of them are embarrassing. Now, some were so early in the season, Eagles almost got beat week 1 by the Patriots. The Eagles almost lost 2, not 1, but 2 games to Washington. Dallas kicked the shit out of both those teams. Eagles, I think, only beat the Rams by a margin of 10, somewhere around there. Dallas beat the shit out of them too. So excuse my language and all this. Then at this point, I'll go through, everybody wants to anoint Hurts, everything. We'll see in a year or 2 when he loses Jason Kelce, retires and isn't in the booth. And, if he doesn't have a pristine offensive line, we'll see. But this is the stats and data team pulled for me. Let's go Dak versus Hurts. Dak leads in completion percentage, 70%, tied for second. Hurts, 66, 12th. TD percentage. Dak is second with 6.3. Hurts is 12th with 4.7. Interception percentage. Dak, 1.5 interception percentage, tied for fifth. Hurts, 2.5, tied for 22nd. Yards per attempt. Dak is 7.9, fourth. Hurts is 7.4, ninth. Quarterback rating. Dak is second with 108.3. Hurts is 13th with 93.8. Pick another type of rating system, QBR, which includes the rushing value, 75.4 for Dak, which is second, 61.4, which is eighth for Hurts. I got all the data out. What do you have to say for all my points and all my data that I just presented to you?
You have proved that Dallas is a better bully than Philadelphia, and Dallas is better on beating up the smaller people. But what happens to bullies, Meg, when they fight a man their own size? It's a little bit different.
That did not look like a man out there last week.
What did Debo say to DeMarcus Cousins on the free throw line spread? Bullies get bullied.
Who said that?
Remember when Zebo said that to DeMarcus?
Oh, Zebo.
Yeah.
I thought you said Debo.
He said in my hood, bullies get bullied.
I have, okay, sorry, the data team pulled more for me that I didn't realize. Can I go total?
Of course you can. This is fantastic.
Okay, Cowboys versus Eagles. That was Dak versus Hurts. Now I have Cowboys versus Eagles. Total points, 380. Now this does the bully thing. I don't care. If you want to talk about common opponents, Dallas embarrassed common opponents, and Eagles barely beat some of the common opponents. Some embarrassing ones, like my Washington team and the Patriots, for just a couple examples. Total points, 388 to 329. Points against, 220 to 288. Obviously, Dallas 220, Eagles 288. Now Eagles have lost all these pieces on defense. Per drive, percentage that ends in turnovers, 7.3. Dallas is second best. Eagles 12.5. That is 21st in the league. Net yards per drive, Dallas is 37.3. Second, Eagles is 33.9. Seventh, points per drive, Dallas is 2.74. Eagles are 2.52. So they're basically very close in that department. Steve is probably crushed that we couldn't do this live, because he would just be the hand. It would be like that. It would be like that GIF. He would just be like burning the comment section.
And we don't have Clyde in here working me out. But just to defend the Eagles one more time here, Meg, the Patriots game was week 1, right?
Sure. Yeah.
The Eagles don't even play preseason. So that was essentially a preseason game for them.
What about the two Washington games?
Washington, you throw those out because they always play each other close. It doesn't matter how bad Washington is. It doesn't matter how good Philadelphia is. Those games are always going to be close. It's like Seattle and the Rams back when Seattle was good and the Rams were bad. The Rams would always play them close, even when they were 8-8 with Jeff Fisher. And Seattle was running the NFC. So I throw those divisional games out because Washington knows what they're going against. That's one of the biggest games of the year for them, and it's the biggest rivalry that they have. I know that the Cowboys is supposed to be the biggest, but like you said, because of the proximity, I think the Eagles game is even bigger for the Commanders now.
How about we talk about another embarrassing one? The Jets with Zach Wilson.
Everybody has a bad week.
Oh my God, spread. Dallas kicked the shit out of the Jets. My language during this is just
Meg,
you're getting fired up, man.
I am, because
it's too bad the Eagles didn't play the Cardinals, because then we can talk about that embarrassing loss.
Here's my biggest counter to this. Well, Dallas beat this team by 40 and the other team skated by. I've watched this my entire life. I watched Baltimore dog pound teams into the ground.
Yeah.
The Steelers play them the next week, beat them by 3. Then we go play Baltimore and we dog walk that team.
Yeah.
The stats don't matter once it comes to divisional games.
So what stats do matter
when it comes out the window?
So what doesn't go out the window when we come to divisional games? What do we need to focus on?
To be honest, but I don't think anything stays in the window when it comes to divisional games.
What I think should stay in the window is your eyeballs and what you just saw last week. You can't tell me. It doesn't concern you that Hurts is playing injured?
Is that final score like the exact representation of what happened in that game? Like, is that how you pictured that game was going to go? Because I say no. How many times are the Eagles getting held out of the end zone inside the red zone on their first 2 drives of the game? They were in the red zone and didn't punch it in for touchdowns. That's 14 points left on the board. But how many times are 80
now we're playing ifs and whats and buts.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, if they play that game 10 times, you're never going to get that 40-19 score again. The Niners had
the same way
negative
with
6
Dallas.
yards after the first quarter.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I mean the Niners obviously
they're a very good team. Probably the best regular season team. We'll see how they fare in the playoffs when their coaches just kind of, lose their mind.
Listen, you know how I felt about, I mean, I have to ask this question to you guys, honestly. Can you honestly say, because you knew my concerns going into the season about the Eagles, they lost their offensive coordinator. And now we can see that Shane Steichen is pretty damn brilliant. I mean, not only he lost his rookie quarterback, who incredibly athletically gifted, maybe not yet as a passer, but he lost his rookie quarterback and he is in the playoff picture. He is obviously brilliant, a very good offensive mind. I was very concerned that we would have a massive downgrade. You can't say that this offensive performance that the Eagles this year versus last year. And then the other thing, they have a much harder schedule this year versus last year. Those were my two concerns going into the season. The record doesn't show it yet, but I think it's come to fruition that I think this offense looks a lot bumpier than this year than it did last year. You can't look at this offense and say it's the same offense from last year, can you?
It definitely looks bumpier.
Yeah.
But okay. I think that's injuries more than the missing pieces. Like the offensive coordinator's big, but they're still running similar plays.
But who else is injured on offense besides Goddard? Was injured last year.
Goddard's out. Lane Johnson's playing banged up. Nobody even knows what's wrong with Hurts. I'm interested to see what happens after the season.
We'll find something out after the season. Yeah.
I swear, every time A.J. Brown goes up for a ball, he lays on the ground for 15 seconds before he finally gets up.
He always
goes to the sideline and he squatted down for 2 plays before coming back out.
I feel like he's always done that shit. I remember so many times playing him as a Titan and DFS, and I'd be like, oh my God.
Yeah, I feel like these guys are pretty banged up.
Yeah.
They were in a tough spot last week, but I couldn't go against them after riding them for so many weeks. I had to ride them to their death. I'm gonna ride.
Why would you jump on now after the death? I think I think it's happened. I think it's over.
I think
they'll
play that team again, and it'll be in Philly again, and San Fran will be going to watch the Super Bowl on the couch.
Oh God. Oh no, Tyler. I like you too much. I don't want you to bet your American dollars on this.
I don't want you to bet your American dollars on Kyle Shanahan to a playoff game.
Well, what I'm talking about this week, I don't think.
The way you bet this game, Meg, I think, because it's a divisional game, I see either team winning, just like the Denver Chargers game. You can make arguments on both sides that sound better than that matchup too. If you like Dallas, just do it through CeeDee Lamb. He's going to crush this matchup. We've seen wide receivers just crush this matchup.
Oh, God, yeah.
He did it the first game, too. He had 100 and some yards.
Yep.
And they lost the game, though. So, I feel like betting his props and then maybe betting his props and tacking on the win on top of it and doing a same game parlay would be a way to approach it. Because it could be that same thing.
Oh, I'll do that.
CeeDee Lamb could have 10 catches for 180 yards and a touchdown. And the Eagles win the game by 3 in the end. It's just one of those weird spots. I'd probably take the Eagles with the points, though. It's plus 3.5. If it was a flat 3, maybe you could talk me into Dallas. Give me the hook, though. I'm taking Philly.
You're actually okay. You're taking Philly, but would you be? And let me ask this question before the debate ends. Would you be surprised? Because I wouldn't. Spoiler alert. If it basically was what last week, where people were on
I'd be very surprised if Dallas rolled out there and just beat the shit out of Philly.
You would be surprised.
Yeah.
Okay, because
I would too, because they have a more traditional offense than San Francisco. I think the versatility of Debo and CMC is something that we've never seen before.
And just hit the rewind button the last Thursday, Meg.
But they've been their offense.
Watching what DK Metcalf did to Deron Bland, what do we think the exact body replica of DK Metcalf named AJ Brown's going to do to him?
That is true. That is a body replica.
Touchdowns, sprinkle on his 3 touchdowns because he's going to run right down the middle. He's going to bump Deron Bland out of the way, and he's going to catch the 60-yard touchdown. So it's just one of those spots, yeah.
Even if he does, I think our future MVP. Listen, this is gross supporting.
As long as one of them wins it, Meg. I don't care as long as one of them wins it because I have them both. Just don't let it be Brock Purdy.
Wait, you have?
It's not going to be Brock Purdy. Stop.
It's not going to be Purdy.
It better not.
It's when it's all.
No, that would be disgusting.
You know what?
Wait, what'd you get the Dak ticket at?
10-1.
Oh, good. That's good. I hear people talking about getting it at 40-1, and I'm like, whoa! I got
10 on Dak, 12-1 on Hurts. I messed up. It was earlier in the year. I remember because I watched the Steelers game at my buddy's house that day. It was when they played the Raiders in primetime. We were watching, it was the week Dallas played the Cardinals, and I made the comment to him. I was like, there's your MVP for the season. It was Dak. And then they lost to the Cardinals, and I was like,
oh, yeah.
I can't make that take ever again.
Yeah, that's probably when he was like,
I should have bet it right then, Meg. That was probably best odds.
Probably. Oh, my God. Yeah. All right. Well, so I haven't talked to you guys off. You guys are both. Are you putting this on the sheet? I want your record to be pristine and beautiful as it has been.
We're not. Do you love it, Tyler? I'm kind of arguing with her, but I haven't placed it yet.
This is going to be a bloodbath. I'd rather not. Like, if I'm betting money on it, it's like I'm coming into this game betting wise, like late in the fourth quarter. Like, all right, I think this team's about to drive down the field and win the game. Click the live money line.
Sure.
And it's to circle back. I actually feel I have more of an edge on the Bengals over the Colts game that I asked you about earlier. No, I really do, because I think that if Browning plays well, the Bengals I could see the paths to victory so much better. I mean, it's simply the Colts win if Browning sucks.
Yes.
Right. But if Browning is just 80% of what he was last week, I think the Bengals win by 7 or 8. And you bring up a lot of good points. I'm bringing up some stats to try and counter you. I got nothing. Statistically, Dallas is a better team. Mm-hmm. When I'm running my projections, I had Dallas winning by 6.
I was gonna say your projection. I knew your projections like Dallas. Yeah,
because the strength of how well they've done at home. Dallas has the second highest home field winning margin for the year, and my projections are very simple. They're based on net rating. They're based on offensive efficiency, and when you run up the score, whether or not my projections don't take into account who you did it against.
Yeah.
So when you score 49 against Washington, it doesn't downgrade it like I necessarily do in my mind. So I'm staying away from this.
I don't want to talk bad about it. You've been playing very well, but doesn't this, like, I'm not going to say it lines up, but like, I don't think he's done it since the Arizona game. Dak hasn't thrown one of these late game, like game deciding interceptions on like a late drive where it's like, oh shit, like that might have lost us the game. That hasn't happened in weeks. He's been very protective with the ball.
Yeah.
I could see this being the physical game, close like last game, where Dak got flipped on his head at the goal line trying to run in for the touchdown. I could see it going a little different here. He tries to zip the ball into one of these guys, an Eagles guy ends up with it, and they're kneeling the ball out to end the game.
Yeah, I guess I don't think it's going to be that close, so that's why I don't think it's going to matter.
My biggest thing to you about this game, Meg, I know you got what you wanted last week with the Niners.
Oh, I did. It was after Washington.
Too much to that.
Oh, I mean, I don't listen. I think 49ers.
You think they're dead, and you just want to keep pounding on them.
I do.
Rise from the death and grab the Cowboys.
Final point, Meg. When we're talking about the deal, right? Look what 49ers did to Dallas.
I know they both got their ass kicked.
Doesn't mean that the Eagles are ready for the cemetery. We don't send them to the old folks' home yet. They can still hang around.
I mean, that was at least in Northern California. The Eagles got their ass kicked. Those fans. Oh, and God, those fans are just. I've been to Lincoln Financial Field a couple times, so I just have some very personal feelings about it. So, anyways, couldn't have been happier. Couldn't have happened to a better fan base to leave getting just whooped and
she's going to be so salty spread if they meet in the playoffs and the Eagles win.
Oh God,
we ain't going to talk to her until next season. She's just going to go. Be like, screw this.
Listen, I think the NFC Championship. Listen. Can you exact bet this? I think the AFC Championship, and then I know we have to get to all of our other stuff, and I promise we will. And then you can react to this, and then we can, I swear to God, move on. AFC Championship, in my opinion, is Miami, Baltimore. NFC Championship is San Francisco, Dallas. Tell me I'm wrong.
I got.
Who do you got?
Baltimore,
Who do you got?
KC.
Okay.
And I have San Francisco, Philly.
So we're similar on a couple.
So here's the deal: if the Philly wins this game, they're essentially going to have home field.
Yeah, if the only way they lose home field is if they lose this game, because if they lose this game, San Fran jumps all the way up to 1.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Which is what I'm rooting for.
But yeah, my playoff picture, I can't give you the AFC yet because I need to know if Buffalo sneaks in. If Buffalo sneaks in, that changes the.
You really think they could be that frisky, and if they sneak in? Okay.
Yes.
I mean, how did this guy slander Josh Allen for like 10 weeks straight on this show, and now he's showing up in a Bills jacket? jumping through a table in a pregame show.
I was gonna say we got a Bills Mafia
over here.
Bills Mafia.
Look how bad the AFC is. I mean, I'm not running to bet a Lamar Jackson led team.
You should be running to bet on Jake Browning and the Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh God,
please. Stooges. I'm not running to bet that team. Trevor Lawrence, who's trying to fight for his life out there.
Isn't it crazy at the AFC? Like we thought there, and now it's just shit this year.
Yeah, it's like why couldn't Buffalo get into the playoffs and end up there? Like I gotta wait.
Josh Allen, the guy that you hate.
I just don't think he's going to be able to go. He's going to. It's definitely going to be a wild card. He's not
going to win them games, spread.
You think he's going to win on the road because he's not. They're not winning the AFC East.
I mean, if that offense gets going and they start chugging along, it's going to be very hard to stop him. He gets into one of those modes where it's like, oh, he's throwing 4 touchdowns a game, 1 interception, and he's not shitting the bed.
We're clipping every show from freaking week 10 where you were bagging on him.
No, he hasn't done. I think he's done it once, and he did it in the Jets game
when you were calling him Mr. Potato Head or what you call him.
He could still become Mr. Potato Head at any moment. So it's a very risky bet. But at 18-1 to win the AFC, it's like you might be
18-1. I can't talk to you.
Yeah, you might entice me into that because at 18-1, if they win 2 playoff games, I got great cash out.
Yeah.
Is it as stupid? Can I ask you, based on my strong opinions of where I think it's going to land? We all have had slightly different opinions about who's going to be in the AFC and NFC Championship game. First of all, number one, use code FANSPEAK on Underdog. Underdog has the playoff best ball up already. I wasn't into it yet, but now I'm starting to the gauntlet, the big $25 marquee with like the big $250,000 top prize is up. And I think I'm going to go all in on Miami 49ers and just build different builds like that with then sprinkles of different sprinkles. And I think I'm just going to go all in with that. But I'm sorry, Meg, that's my biggest worry for Miami is they get home field. They get everything they want. They get the first round bye and they go, who we playing in the divisional round? And they go, that team that's fucked you up for the last couple of years. Sorry, my French, but Buffalo has beaten this team into the dirt every time, except for that one time where it was 9,000 degrees in Miami. They put the Bills in the sun, and they miraculously won the game at the end. That would be devastating for Miami. That would look like when Michigan got the announcement that Bama was number 4. They were like, shit. Like, we got to play them. Like, that could be a very bad spot for Miami in that division round. We'll see. Buffalo plays Miami, week 18, I think?
Yeah, it could be back-to-back games for Miami that they got to play Buffalo.
Yeah, about like a week in between. But, and just to make another point for those that do play the gauntlet playoff best ball, you do have to factor in who's playing the first week. So last year it was so hard because it was the 2 teams with the bye. So you do have to sprinkle in enough players to play in the first week, so you don't get eliminated the first week because it's elimination. So anyways, wanted to make that point, but I am tempted to make exacta bets of Miami versus Dallas, Miami versus 49ers, because that's how bullish I am on those teams. But we have so much else to get to. Guys, did you like my prop of the reading glasses? I hope I really
excellent. Yeah.
So I thought that was fun. I got dizzy when I looked up, so I had to take them off. And did you like that I brought my brother in to be the stats team?
Yeah, like that's fantastic. Okay. I can't even counter him.
Okay,
I tried to Google some stats that were pro Eagles, and I realized
Steve's
there was only one category that they're ahead of the Dallas Cowboys, and that's red zone scoring percentage. Eagles are at 61.7. Yeah. Well, Dallas is only at 53.7. So, and that's good. Third down conversion percentage, pretty close. Dallas is at 48%. Philly's at 47%. You already hit the completion percentage at 70% to 66%. Completion percentage isn't my favorite stat. But of these yards per play and all these other ones that we love, points per play, Dallas is at 0.486. Philly's only at 0.4. And Dallas is averaging, it doesn't seem like much, but 5.7 to 5.4 is a significant yards per play advantage. So the only thing I have to really hang my hat on is that red zone scoring percentage. I hate to say it, but in your game script, I think Dallas wins by a blowout, and that doesn't matter. So in my game script where it's a close game, I think it matters.
Sure. Well, we will see. But the official plays is the Browns play. You'll see it on the card. Do you think there's going to be any other official spread plays then, I guess? Or, I mean, I know we'll talk after the show, but.
Maybe Cincinnati, but okay. I can't see us falling on anything else. Can you, Tyler?
No,
I think if we jump in, we're going to end up jumping in on totals as we get weather news.
Yeah, it'd be a total.
That makes more sense. That makes sense. You guys were 2-0 in totals last week.
The only other spot that I looked at and I was like, I kind of want to bet that, just looking at the initial number, was Detroit at Chicago -3. Yep. But then it like,
I don't want that outdoors.
The instant in my head said, oh, that's too short. And then the other side of my head said, wait, that game's outside. Go, just keep scrolling. And I just said, nope, keep it moving.
Yeah. When I did all the like analysis pre-best ball season for, you know, the schedules and that kind of stuff, and then Goff narrative, he had like, he's had like, I want to say like 11 or 12 of the 17 best ball weeks are actually in domes, just like last week was away, but it was in a dome. And then this was his, and I cited it all summer. He has one potentially bad weather game, and it's this one. This is it. Yeah. This is it. He's 3 dome games through the best ball playoffs. So anyways, I get that. I still think Lions win that. And I'm more probably in on the Chargers than you guys are, but again, very biased. So
I will say one thing I'll bet in that Lions game, Fields' rushing yards. Spread gave it out on this show before. That stat where they run that zone defense, Detroit does, and running quarterbacks shred them.
He's done well against them every time.
That following Sunday, Lamar Jackson ran for, I think, like 90 yards and a touchdown, and Baltimore walked them off the field in less than a quarter. Then they played Chicago a few weeks later, and Fields in his first game back ran for 100+, and they lost the game at the end. Just bet his rushing prop in this one. The dude's going to run for so many yards in this matchup. It's just the defensive scheme Detroit runs. It's going to give it to him.
Okay. No, that makes a ton of sense. Well, since we ran long on our debates, which were so fun, let's go quickly through totals, props, anytime touchdowns. What totals are you guys zoning in on? Spread, I'll go to you first.
Yeah, Meg. Yeah, we'll be concise here from here on out. I chose the total in the Vikings and the Raiders. We're not necessarily high on these offenses, but we are down on these defenses. I know the Raiders defense has improved, but with Justin Jefferson getting back in that lineup, Josh Dobbs, there was some concern that they had given up on him, but it looks like he's going to be the starter. I think that's the right call to make. And now that they have that diversified offense with Jefferson out there, I think that's going to be too much for the Raiders to handle. Conversely, going against that blitz, I do trust Aiden O'Connell to get Josh Jacobs and some of these other guys involved. We know the Vikings are one of the highest blitzing teams in the league, but I think the Raiders do have the nice counters for that because AOC, right, I was happy on him, but what I've seen so far, it looks like he's going to be a backup in this league. There's so many throws that he's leaving on the table here. Not going to be the answer at quarterback, but with Devontae Adams, most of the quarterbacks, even Brian Hoyer, can get him the ball. Then you have Josh Jacobs. I like this game to go over 40. It's one of the few games we don't have to worry about. It's going to be in Las Vegas, and all the clubs are going to be filled up with NBA players. So the NFL players might not be able to get in on Saturday night. Give me the over.
Yeah. And they're poor people in the club compared to the NBA players.
Yeah, right.
Especially
funny.
the guys that are going to be there. So
that's good. That's pretty funny. I like all good points. I totally agree with you there. I assume you agree too, Tyler. And then what's your favorite?
Yeah,
total?
for sure. I'm just going to lock arms with spread on that total, Meg. Keep it short and sweet. That was the only total that I really liked on the board. I see the couple pathways it gets there. Minnesota could score points with Jefferson back. Vegas could put up points too. Neither defense really scares me, so I can see us definitely getting over that 40.5 number.
And stay tuned, and we'll tweet it out. We might add some unders here as we get
with the
more
weather
confirmation on this weather news and a couple of this quarterback news. I mean, I know that 31 seems disgusting in Cleveland, but with Beathard going against that defense, it might be a good look there, especially with 20-mile-an-hour swirling winds. I remember when the Raiders went there a couple of years back, and it's one of the worst stadiums to play in with wind. So there's a couple
right
totals
water,
that we're keeping an eye on.
It's
but we want to get that weather news before we take point. Because let's be honest, even if the line moves, it's not going to move enough to account for how bad some of those situations can be out there on the East Coast.
Yeah, agreed. All right, Tyler, let's talk a couple props. And then we'll talk a couple anytime touchdowns. But just put out my thing. What's your favorite prop of the week at this point on a Thursday?
My favorite one on Thursday, already talked about it. Fields over 60.5 rushing yards.
Nice.
It just lines up too easy in this spot. The only way he doesn't get there, I think, is if he gets hurt, because the zone defense is just going to back up and he's going to stand there and he's going to be like, well, no one's open, but there's this giant gap in the side of the field. I could just run for 25 yards.
Right.
So he's going to tuck it. He's going to run. I'd even bet some of his alts. I don't see any of his alts listed yet. The only ones I see alts for right now are the New England games. So once those alts pop up in that game, I'd definitely be looking to maybe get like, say, an 80 plus at a nice number. Maybe even sprinkle on 100 plus if you're getting a nice of a number, because he did do that in the last matchup. So that's some ways I like looking at his props.
I love a good ladder. I like it.
And I wouldn't touch any of his other props. Like the only other one I would touch maybe would be his touchdown. Like maybe he runs one in. I'm not touching his passing touchdowns, not touching his passing yards. Strictly rushing for me here. He's a running back for me on Sunday, Meg.
Yeah. I agree with that. I'm into that. I think Lions win, but I totally agree with that. And I like that that's on the sheet. I would definitely be betting that. I'm going to go to what supports my, whole Dallas thing, but I mean, you could throw in the Eagles, right? And I've been trying to avoid putting on the prop sheet, like big, huge lines. And last week we put like a list of alts we liked, whether you want to ladder them or just hit them at like an alt number, 20 yards, 10, 20 yards more and get some nice plus odds on it. And I believe we hit 4 out of 5 of our alts that we had on the sheet. So we're going to keep doing that. And so I'll definitely alt CeeDee Lamb, ladder CeeDee Lamb. I think that's viable. But Brandon Cooks, they've gotten him going since the bye week. Number's still too low. He hasn't gotten there every time, but he's gotten there plenty of times. And I still definitely think he could do that in this matchup. He's 49.5 against the Eagles secondary. So give me Brandon Cooks at 49.5.
I got one more for you, Meg.
Yeah, give it to me.
It was in that Cincinnati game we talked about.
Okay.
Cincinnati can't stop tight ends. Evan Ingram had his first touchdown of the year last week. He had a good game. Minshew's going to spread the ball around, and he used this Granson guy a lot last week. 12.5 receiving yards. That dude can't be standing in the middle of the field wide open and get that one catch.
Yeah, that would all be all it takes.
I think that's a good look. And it's going to be a weather game too, which means he's not going to be looking downfield. Yeah, short passes, short dink and dunks. That's where the tight ends get involved. I like that 12.5 on him.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. Don't mind that at all. Well, while we're waiting for spread to come back, let's jump into our favorite anytime touchdowns now of the week. Because again, NFL betting card, we're covering all spreads, totals, props, anytime touchdowns. Got to take a victory lap. Anytime touchdowns have been awesome lately. We've had a winning record multiple weeks in a row. Thanksgiving, we almost, I think we were like, 5-7, swept the board on Black Friday, had a winning record that weekend. It's been multiple winning records in a week on the NFL betting card on FanSpeak. Multiple winning records, anytime touchdowns, and they're all plus odds. Even the ones we do minus, we'll do like, last week I think we did like Tyreek Hill touchdown and win, David Montgomery touchdown win, that kind of stuff. So you can get it plus odds, close to even money, that kind of stuff. But some really plus odd, touchdown bets, and we've had a winning record, and we were 7-3 on Sunday. I hit a 1 p.m. only and a 4 p.m. only, a little parlay that I put on Twitter. So having fun with the anytime touchdowns. Let's keep it going. I'll go to you first, Tyler. Who do you like for your favorite anytime touchdown of the week?
We're going down south, Meg. We're going to New Orleans for this one, and we are playing the quarterback's style of play with this.
Ooh, I think I know where you're going. Okay,
give me Rashid Shaheed plus 255. Winston's just going to drop back, and he's going to be like, "Where's my farthest receiver down the field? So I can throw it as far as I can." That is probably going to be Rashid Shaheed. I could see him getting loose against his Carolina defense. And he can catch a deep ball and house that to the end zone. So at plus 255, I'll take a shot on Rashid Shaheed in this one.
All right. I like it. It does fit Winston for sure.
He also tends to put those stat lines up where it's either nothing, like maybe one catch, 20 yards and nothing, or it's 3 catches, 80 some yards and a touchdown. Yeah. I think Carolina's the matchup he gets it with Winston under center.
Oh, yeah, that Carolina matchup for sure. Spread, who are you liking for anytime touchdown this week?
Oh, hold on. Let me pull it. Sorry, I had the wrong one up. But I'm going to go with Devontae Adams. He's going to be the young quarterback's best friend. I got plus 120 there. It's correlating to our over. I expect to see some scoring in that game. But I think on the Raiders side, it's a lot easier to predict who it's going to go to because I have 2 options. I like Jacobs and Adams. And on the other side, I think there's 3 to 4 quality options. You have the running backs and also now 3 great weapons with Justin Jefferson rejoining Jordan Addison. So I'm going safe on this side. Justin Jefferson's a plus 120 as well. Josh Jacobs is at minus 112, but Devontae Adams is my favorite from that game. Give me Devontae Adams at plus 120.
I was thinking Jefferson at plus 9. I wouldn't be surprised if that's on the sheet, but I wanted to go give a shout out.
A snap bet at the price.
What's that?
Is that just a snap bet at the price?
Yeah, I think it has to. So yeah, I'm going to give 2. It has. You have to.
I think so too, because we can do both those, because when you're a quarterback like Dobbs and there's rumored to be frustrations and you're really close to breaking through,
6 yards.
Why don't you ingratiate yourself to a man that's going to have a lot of influence in that organization? If Justin Jefferson likes working with you, you got a great chance of coming back and having a great shot at being that first team quarterback next year.
Yeah, no, I love that call. And like you said, just a snap bet at that price. So we'll get that on the sheet. Spread, while you were stepped away for a sec, I said how well we've been doing on anytime touchdowns on the sheet. Multiple winning weeks. Last week 7-3, hit early only, afternoon only. And you know who's been so kind to us, and I believe it was your pick last week, but I've had him on the card a lot of weeks, and I'm just going back to him again because he's still priced too cheap, and that's Mike Evans. He's just I was just pulling up his red zone targets. He's one of the league leaders in red zone targets, I believe, but he's let's see, going against the Falcons, he is priced at, I just lost it because I was looking at Jefferson's price. Sorry about that. Mike Evans is priced at plus 140. So when you're, again, at that price, I mean, he's been, 180, 160. I still like it at 140. So give me Mike Evans to keep being a little touchdown printer for us. So I like.
All right, Meg, and I want to congratulate you because scoring's been down. It's pretty good to be still hitting these touchdown props. With these games and the totals of 35, 37. I remember 2 years ago, especially maybe that pandemic year, it felt like all the totals were between like 47 and 52.
It was so high in 2020.
Change, and things can change quickly here. As it seems like a majority of the games are in the 30s. 44 seems like a high number now. 47 or 48. Seems sky high, and I can't believe that we have a 52 on the board this week, because I believe that's what our Eagles-Cowboys total come in at.
At least we do have something in the 50s, and I'm sure there'll be some touchdown props from that game as well, but I like that our touchdown props that we circled on. So again, check out the full NFL betting card to see all the props, touchdowns, anything else these guys add. They said they might add some other totals based on looks on weather and everything. So check out the full NFL betting card Saturday. So, I mean, do we even want to talk? I mean, this is going to get up about 5 Eastern on Thursday for the Thursday Night Football. Do we want to just do first touchdowns for the Steelers? Another backup matchup. We got Mason Rudolph versus Bailey Zappi, and the Patriots Steelers. I think we're all in agreement that this isn't going to be a fun one.
I wish it was Mason Rudolph under center, Meg. It's Mitchell Trubisky.
Oh, I said Mason Rudolph. I'm so sorry. It's Mitchell Trubisky. I'm sorry.
Rudolph. I mean, at least maybe he might throw the ball.
What did I just go back 2 years? Good Lord. I'm so sorry.
Mitch did say in an interview today, like in the last couple of days, that he's playing with 0 restrictions. He's just going to let it fly. No worries. So interested to see if he just goes out there and he's like, I'm not the starter. This ain't my job.
It's
I'm not winning the job. I'm just going to go Winston, and we're just going to air this thing out all game.
That would make it fun if he did go all Winston on us and or Jay Cutler degaffed it for us and just was like, let's just go, I'm just going to try to, I could throw 4 picks or I could throw 4 touchdowns, I would love if he went all Winston on us. Well, then I assume, do you guys both like the Steelers to win this one, even though it could be ugly?
I mean,
this
game's got like 6-6 written all over it going into the fourth quarter, and one quarterback's driving down the field to get the final score to win the game. Turnover, touchdown, game over. How'd you lose that game? Because the quarterback threw a pick 6 because he sucks.
I was going to say, I haven't put it in yet, but I was thinking about doing for the touchdown parlay of the day, both defenses, because it could happen. Just like that Black Friday game.
If you're going to do it, Meg, do it on DK.
Oh, is a much better number on the touchdown?
Because if they happen to, say, run the punt back or run the kick back on FanDuel, it doesn't count. It doesn't count.
But it does on DK?
Yeah. DK still listed as defense/special teams. FanDuel's listed as just defense.
Just defense. Got it. Okay. Good call. Excellent call. I appreciate that. Okay. Well, then do you guys want to just do a quick first touchdown bet for this one? I mean, we could still build a parlay if you want to, but Tyler, since this is your team, let's give me your first touchdown for this game. If there is one.
I clicked on the first touchdowns, Meg, and I was scrolling through, and there's a guy's name on here who I don't even know how he even got on the Steelers roster. I didn't even know we had this guy as a running back. I'm not even going to try and butcher his name.
Oh, I know.
We weren't betting him anyway. I had to go look it up and make sure he was even on the team. So don't even know where this guy came from. Don't know if this is one of those games where he's just going to.
He's not on my list.
Godwin Agui Bouquet, running back. I was like, who? Yeah. So I don't know who he is.
But isn't Najee playing now though?
Yeah, Najee's playing. So like that guy can go back to the first row in the stands. They can take his jersey back. Give me. I'm just going right back. Actually, give me Pickens. Pickens 11-1. I was gonna go Moose at 12, but Pickens 11-1. Mitch says he's gonna air it out. That kind of lines up with Pickens.
Yeah, that totally lines up.
Throw it up to the guy. Hopefully, breaks the tackle and runs away.
I like that. All right, spread. What do you got for me? First touchdown.
All right, Meg. I got no touchdown scored. 14-1. Let's do it.
Oh my God. It could happen.
The Patriots haven't scored a touchdown for 4 weeks.
It could happen.
And I got Mitchell Trubisky back there.
This Steelers defense can't pop a nosebleed, Fred.
Hey, you want to know how ridiculous this is? Usually that bet is like 30-1.
I know.
This is the 1, 2. It's the 8th highest. There's only 7 numbers that are less. Devontae Parker has better odds than no touchdown score.
Wait, what is it on your book? It's 14-1.
Both defenses have better odds than no touchdown scored. Give me no touchdown scored in this game. And all you fantasy people are going to hate it, but you need to appreciate good tackling and sound defensive schemes by 2 brilliant head coaches.
I mean, did you watch the Steeler game last week? They couldn't tackle me.
Which game was that? Oh, yeah, I had Cardinals +6. That was great.
They lost all their linebackers last week.
Right
TJ's banged up. Minka's playing with the cast on his hand.
Is TJ playing?
He's going to try. The other linebacker, Roberts, is banged up. They can't tackle. So all that tackling you just talked about, spread, it ain't coming from the Pittsburgh side.
Well, then you're he did he not like that? Now you might have talked me out of. I mean, but do we bet Pittsburgh defense?
Tyler's really pessimistic about the Steelers, Meg. You have to take that into account.
They couldn't tackle anybody last week. They would have 4 bodies in the backfield on James Conner, and he would still get to the second level of the defense before somebody was able to break him down.
Pittsburgh native, Tyler.
And I've watched Zeke gouge this team before. New England.
I won't send you any pictures of me eating sushi.
Mike Tomlin as a favorite.
There's no touchdown scored.
I'm eating sushi.
So they're gonna let up one. I know that. I can tell you that much.
All right.
Well, I'll wait for that DM.
I was gonna say Freiermuth. He's a 12-1. But I really wanted to go with my initial gut reaction, which is 26-1 Steelers defense. I mean, I know you talked about everything that the Steelers defense is missing or playing banged up, but they're still playing Bailey Zappi with literally no weapons, not even Ramondre Stevenson, which is last time for the drinking game, killing me in best ball, killing me. Some of my really good teams have Ramondre.
I mean, to be fair, he was killing you when he was in the lineup. So I don't know.
No, he was good enough. I mean, for his draft pick.
Weeks.
You're surviving.
So he was underperforming his draft pick, yes, but on good teams, he has actually provided enough to, at least a viable score. And so not having him is just going to be a stinger. So anyways, they don't even have Ramondre. Their weapons suck. Bailey Zappi sucks. It's in Pittsburgh, even with a banged up. I'm going to go 26-1 Steelers defense for first touchdown. It's just too good it's just too fun. We're doing some fun ones here. We're YOLOing it, degaffing it. So, okay. Do we even dare do a same game parlay for this one? Just for our own personal fun?
I'm game to sit this one out.
Okay. Spread, do you have a strong lean? I
yeah,
mean,
let's find some unders here.
Okay, there you go.
Passing yards.
I was gonna say Bailey Zappi.
This is ridiculous, man.
It's so low. Yeah, it's like 150.
162.
That's about what they hung for. Who's that Bad Jets quarterback that just got benched on Black Friday?
I can't bet under on this site. Dang it.
Oh, that's not fun.
They only let me go over. Can you throw unders on yours?
Yeah.
Can we just move it up to like under 200 yards?
Oh, I'm on FanDuel right now. I can't alt under that. Can I?
No.
Yeah, I had to be on DraftKings to alt under it, I think. So
outside of all these quarterbacks stink, what's the reasoning for betting the under? There's no weather here. It's fucking. What's the weather in Pittsburgh? It is
because the Patriots haven't scored a touchdown since like October.
What?
How many
The
yards?
Patriots scored a touchdown. I was watching Charlie Brown Halloween special.
We're talking about the 160 passing yards that the quarterback can sleepwalk into. Why are we trying to bet an under there? There's no weather effects tonight. Like,
because he's so bad. How many did he put? How many yards
did he hand the ball? First of all, New England doesn't want to win. I don't believe all that smoke coming out. Belichick has an elite defense. Let's throw Caleb or Drake May in there, and this team's going to be back to contending. I don't think the Patriots want to win. I think it's going to be ABC Tecmo Bowl offense. Halfback dive right, halfback dive left, green pass. I don't think the Patriots are interested in winning.
For 141 in the monsoon they played in last week, and now there's no weather effects tonight, and we're trying to bet the under of 20 extra yards. This dude's going to throw for 250 plus tonight.
But he's going to get 250.
Bet the 250 plus 880 on FanDuel. Click the button.
All right, fine.
This is just lining up where it's like, Pittsburgh's defense is going to maul them. Tomlin, great. Tomlin as a favorite loses the game outright, and Bailey Zappi looked like a starter. What happened there?
Oh no, Tyler! I think you're doing the defense mechanism thing where you're doing this.
Like we're saying that now, and then we're all going to watch.
You hate the Steelers like you hate the Eagles. It doesn't make no sense.
All right, so Tyler's not really. He doesn't feel confident about his team tonight. I get it. So,
fine. Give me for my part. Give me Trubisky over 13 rushing yards.
I like that.
Actually, I'm betting that straight up. I'm not even going to put it in a parlay. But what do you want to add, Meg?
I was going to add Bailey Zappi, but under and go with that. But I
can't parlay unders. Do you have any overs you like?
Okay. In line with what Tyler said about Mitch airing it out. I'm not necessarily gonna. I mean, his line's set really low. You could do that if you do believe he's gonna air it out, but his receivers lines are criminally low. So I would go Pickens 40.5 or Freiermuth 27.5. I'll let you pick.
Freiermuth.
Okay, so we got Trubisky over 12.5 rushing. It's 12.5 on my book. Freiermuth over 27.5 receiving. Come on, Tyler, you have to give us one over then, because that's all that spread can bet. You like Pickens, right?
Yeah, we could throw Pickens in there, I guess. I just put together, I was like, what are these two quarterbacks to each throw 200 yards in a same game parlay at 6-1?
Is it really?
It's 2023 in the NFL. You're telling me these two quarterbacks can't throw over 200 yards in a non-weather game?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Actually, yes, I do believe that can happen.
I don't see it. Non-weather defenses aren't all that good. There's banged up on both sides. I think they can both fall into 200.
They can. I mean, again, Tim Boyle. I just came to me. I bet his under, and it was around what Bailey Zappi is now. So, like, they can accidentally get there, even though it could be absolutely brutal to watch.
That was against Miami's defense too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is a way, way better unit than what's going to be on the field tonight.
No, it's not.
You're not.
Bro, who let JC Zargo on this show?
You're not factoring in injuries. You're legit just seeing Tomlin in your.
I see TJ. I see TJ Watt.
I see TJ
Watt. Yeah, Tomlin and TJ Watt.
Did you watch the game last week when guys got hurt?
What are you doing when I have a Tomlin fat head
Yeah.
right behind me and he's just standing there in a cardboard cutout and I go like 27-0?
Oh my God! Please get a Tomlin fathead for the rest of the season. That would be amazing.
Is it going to be standing with his arms crossed and that dumbass look on his face when everything goes wrong?
Oh my
Everything
God.
goes wrong when his fans don't support him and realize how great he is.
I know. The spread. I mean, you and I are like starving for a good head coach.
Right? Meg, do you remember this in high school when that one girl was complaining because she got a BMW instead of a Mercedes and I'm driving around in a 69 Volkswagen Bug?
Yeah.
That's Tyler.
Yep. He is so blessed with Mike Tomlin. And we're sitting here.
You never know what you have till it's gone. I mean, there'll be a.
I'll trade him. I'll trade for Mike Tomlin.
I will
want to make a trade?
Let's just bet Mike Tomlin to put the shoulder pads and the helmets on and go out and win us the game, because Patrick Peterson not practicing, Minka is not practicing, the starting corner not practicing, the starting middle linebacker not practicing, the starting guard out tonight, the starting center questionable tonight. Najee Harris going to try and play, didn't practice all week. Has anyone looked at the injury report but me?
Yeah, but who are you scared about on the Patriots side? Ramondre out. He's their best weapon.
It's not just that. It's going to be two shitty teams on the field where the outcome could be anything.
I don't think
this is not a spot where the Steelers are just going to walk in and be like, all right, we're just going to take this win and go home.
Yeah, it is.
I think it is. I don't think it's going to be pretty.
I'm betting it right now. What's the money line? Minus 256, huh?
What's the spread?
6.5.
Okay. Yeah, 6 on my book. Yeah. All right. Well, we went an hour and 25, so we'll wrap it up. It's been too much fun to debate all these things, but we covered the spreads, the totals, anytime touchdowns, props. Quickly, Thursday night, I'll get this up as soon as possible. Check the NFL betting card for a full look at all these bets by Saturday. Check that. Be sure to check that out and check their NFL treasure map on the sports betting tab on fanspeak.com. We're going to get out of here. So for Spread, for Tyler, I'm Meg, and good luck in week 14, and we will see you next week.
Tom.